Hi readers, it's Mrs. Jerkins, and I'm here to talk to you more about your reading and how it's going at your house. So we have been talking about how readers grow every day, and we've talked about how we are in charge of our own reading, and we get to decide how we're going to read a book. We also know how to give a book a sneak peek. We look at the title and the back blurb and the table of contents to see how the book might want to be read. And we're even making reading goals. We are reading more and more. So we're making those reading goals for ourselves. So I wanted to tell you that not everything is peaches and roses in the world of reading. I have to tell you that when you move up to those harder books, there are some harder challenges that come with those books. So once you start leaving those lower level books behind and you're starting to go into the bigger chapter books, there's a problem that comes with those. Bigger books means you have to have bigger reading muscles because they have bigger, harder words. And we start getting stumbled in our reading. And then you can't even start thinking about how do you want to read the book because you're stuck on, what's that word? So you're thinking, I don't even know how to read the book because it's too hard. So I wanted to show you that even though we're getting into these harder books, there's still ways that we can fix up the reading so we're reading it in bigger scoops. So that's what we're going to learn about today. So that's our reading point today, is that readers read in bigger scoops as they start reading these bigger books. You got to have bigger scoops for bigger books. So I wanted to show you an example in my book. Let's look at it now. All right, so here is my book, The Alien Next Door, Trick or Cheat. So I was reading and I was right about here. So I noticed something happening with my voice. See if you can hear it. Harris had to sit down. Somehow this was even more shocking to him than learning that his new friend really was an alien. So I was able to read all of those words. The problem is that it sounds so robotic and it's not sounding like how I want to read it. So we have to start thinking about our reading either while we're reading or even before we start reading. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take a look at this section right here. So this next section right here. And I'm looking at it and if I start looking at it, I start freaking out, right? I've got all of these words. Oh my goodness. And I start thinking about those big words that I'm going to really have a hard time with and trip over. But what I want you to do is I want you to start looking at the scoops. Where can you find the scoops? And the scoops are places that are really easy for you. So right here, I see, took a deep breath. And I see right here, his arms above his head. And right here, I see into wavy lines. And right here, I see to grow taller and taller. And so I'm seeing those areas where I can scoop up the words in one easy chunk and make it sound easier to read. So then I can start using those chunks as I'm reading. So watch this. Zeke took a deep breath and raised his arms above his head. His body started to vibrate, then glow with a faintly yellow gleam. So I did have to slow down right there because I knew yellow, but faintly and gleam, I kind of had to slow down for. So sometimes you're going to be able to easily scoop up a word or phrase, and sometimes you're going to have to slow down, and that's okay. One thing that really good readers do is they can go back and reread. I'm getting a lot of words in here that kind of are spooky. And this is something that's happening that he does not feel so sure about. So what I might do is I might go back now that I've read it one time, and I might reread this in a way that's kind of spooky. Zeke took a deep breath and raised his arms above his head. His body started to vibrate, then glow with a faintly yellow gleam. Oh, I like that a lot better. So did you see what I did, readers? I found a lot of words that I knew that helped me read more and read faster. And I'm scooping up my words to read in bigger scoops. And so that way, now I can decide how I'm going to read. So today, as you go off to read, I want you to think about that with your own book and find ways where you can read in bigger scoops. And that's what we're going to be doing today. Read in bigger scoops. All right, have fun reading.